Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Today we're going to be talking all about Ford news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's why I suggest you have a little bit of this if that's your thing, because a little adult juice is going to help get through some of this bad news. It's not all bad news, I promise there is good news, but hey, we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover that's gone on in the last few weeks. So I'm going to be covering Bronco news, F150 news from the gasoline powered F150, really all F150s, including the F150 Lightning, a little bit of Maverick news, and then of course I'll jump right back into some more Bronco news. So 80% of this is going to be Bronco news, and there'll be about 20% dedicated to the F150, the Lightning, and the Maverick. Now let's just put the pedal to the metal, burn our tires right into these topics. Let's talk about a big piece of news for some. I'd love to know how you feel about this. Ford scraps the 2024 Bronco pickup plans. So that looks like that's not happening. How do you feel about this? Were you really looking forward to Bronco pickup? Now, if we look at the Gladiator, a lot of people complain about how the Gladiator looks, but they love its utility. It is a pretty, in my opinion, it is a pretty cool vehicle, but I don't feel like it looks any better having the box in the back. So maybe Ford's doing really the Bronco as a whole a favor, because of course when you have your vehicle and you have this weird looking version of your vehicle, well, some would feel that it detracts from the pleasure of ownership. You're a little less proud maybe. I'd love to know how you all feel about that, but let's just move right along. Personally, I'm not all that bothered that there won't be a Bronco pickup. We already have the Maverick, we have the Ranger, we have the F-150, we have the F-150 Lightning. We've got a lot of pickups here, and I like the Bronco just being the Bronco. Heck, it even bothers me somewhat that there's a Bronco Sport. I think there would have been better names for that. It has been suggested on the channel before, like the name Scout. If you have any names that you think the Bronco Sport would have been better carrying, go ahead, please leave them in the comments section. And even I've been wondering if I should be doing some of these live. Would you prefer to have this as sort of like a live where we kind of discuss this as a group, or does it work that there's extra editing, we have to have some pictures up on the side because I'm not doing it live, and then we get to kind of discuss in afterwards in the comment section. So let me know how you feel about that. I'd love your feedback. Now moving right along, colors that are canceled for 2021 on the Bronco. This is a big one. This is why I've got this, because this negatively affects a lot of people, and I don't get it. They're dropping antimatter blue, so Ford is dropping antimatter blue. It's a great looking color. I'll put that right to the side here. It's actually my #1 color until I remembered how crazy I get when I have scratches, visible scratches on my vehicle. Marie knows I spent an extremely hot full day in the garage getting trying to compound the scratches off of probably the Escape 2007 Escape with the most scratches I've ever seen. However, we got it at a good price for that, and I have done about 5-6 hours of work on it, and it's actually looking pretty decent. But Ford had a popular color. Antimatter blue is a popular color, and they're dropping it for 2022, and it gets worse. So, they're also dropping Rapid Red, which I think is another fantastic color. This was probably about my 3rd choice. And in dropping Rapid Red, really the real bad news about this is you've got 2 choices. You can turn this into a good news, go for a soft top and have your Bronco built this year with one of the colors you want, or it looks like it's pretty official now. If you're not getting built this year, then you're not getting one of those 2 colors if you're being pushed to a 2022, which is when actually 2022 you'll actually on the wild track have an option for a soft top. But if you're one of those 2-door guys out there, you don't even have a solution. You're stuck. You're losing your color. So it hurts, because personally I feel this could have been maybe dealt with differently. I would have liked to have seen that the first few days of 2022 production are used to finish off the transferred 2021s, the 2021s that got canceled and turned into 2022s, because the clients, those customers, you've chosen to stick with your hard top. Good for you for sticking to your guns and knowing what you like. I gave in and I got the soft top, and actually I have a Badlands at the dealership right now that I saw, and I like the soft top. I'm happy with my choice, but if you know you're not going to be happy going to a soft top, stick through it. But why not have those first few days of 2022 production making those remaining 2021 colors? Then, you know, okay, so maybe you have to close the factory for a day while you switch up the machine, while you do whatever you need to do to get, you know, those colors out and put the new colors in. What are the new colors, by the way? Well, and this one's a mouthful, so I'm gonna check my notes. You have hot, red, pepper, metallic, tinted, clear coat. So I'll post something to the side here to show it on a Maverick. I think it's a decent color. It's a color that Marie and I were considering somewhat for the Maverick. Now we went with Area 51, which actually on the Maverick is having a lot of popularity. It looks like that's the number one color with a take rate of 19.8% according to some Reddit charts. But I still feel like people who've been waiting a year, I would have liked to have seen the first few days of 2022 production, having those colors and then giving them a very unique, special, rare 2022. It'd be the only 2022s with those two colors. Heck, even let people switch to those colors and have the Bad Bunch group rewarded for incredible patience. Now, no one's really affected by Lightning Blue being dropped off because, well, it was only a first edition color. And all the first editions are getting built for 2021. So good news, if you have a first edition reserved, you're getting a 2021, you're getting your color, you don't have to worry about that. Now Cyber Orange, here's a little piece of news. Cyber Orange for 2022 will be offered on the base and the Big Ben models. I'd like to know, does anyone really who likes this color? I think it's kind of cool, and it fits because the Bronco's got a lot of character, but I just wouldn't ever want to be parked beside a school bus because then it's, it goes from being cool to being a little embarrassing. So I'm a little iffy. I'm not sure if I love the color or not. I've got reserved feelings about that, but what I do love for 2022 is the green. The green is absolutely incredible. Good chances that if I get too many scratches on the Bronco from my off-roading experiences, which I'll be filming, well, I might have to switch that for, if I can get my hands on one, a green 2022 or 2023 if the color's still around. Now, of course, for 2022, there'll be special editions, maybe, a heritage edition with a, white or cream colored mags and roof, but we'll have to wait for official news on that. But what else are we getting for 2022? Well, we're getting differences in bumpers, and this is kind of bad news because I really like the heavy duty modular bumper. So that's the bumper that's full steel. You can take it apart piece by piece, swap parts in and out. I think that's amazing, and it was standard for 2021 for both the Black Diamond and the Badlands edition. So like the Bronco I'm getting, it was one of the things that attracted me to the Badlands edition, and as well as the Black Diamond. Now, instead, it is still going to be a steel bumper, but what I love about the heavy duty is that you can throw on a winch, which I've ordered. We're going to talk about accessories at the end of this video, but I've ordered a winch having no idea how much it's going to cost. I know, a cheap winch online on Amazon is about, not necessarily cheap in quality, but I mean in price. It's about 500 to 700 US. I'm guesstimating that the winch from Ford, the factory approved winch, I'm thinking it's going to probably be a Warn. I'm thinking it's probably going to cost a little over 1,000 USD, but I'll have to wait and see. I ordered it confirming that I'm going to pay for it, so I don't understand how, you go to your parts department and there's no prices out for the winch. If someone has access to that, please share, but my parts department did not. I ordered it. I'll live with whatever price it has, but at the end of the video, we'll talk about what accessories are cool, which ones do you definitely want to avoid, and I'd love input on which accessories you think are must-haves for the Bronco. Now, something that kind of bugs me is the plastic bumper. Well, the plastic bumper is now going to be the standard bumper on all models except for Black Diamond and Badlands. There you'll at least get a steel bumper, so that's pretty cool. But, good and bad news. heavy duty modular bumper is going to be available on all trims. There's your good news. That is really awesome. No more, I'm going to have to take this model at this price because I want that bumper. It's going to be available on all models, and that's a fantastic move on Ford's part. Thank you. We owe you one. However, the two models that had it don't have it anymore, which means you don't have the factory mounted winch mounts or the spot to put the factory winch right on. So that's kind of a bit of bad news. That's a bummer. I'm not a fan of that. But moving right along, let me know what you feel about that. And let's talk about it in the comments, the comments section. But how would you feel if your F-150, you found out that it had been underwater for probably what's going to be, at least several days, but maybe a couple weeks? How would you feel? Because right now, there's F-150s. Now, we've known for months that, there's been tens and thousands of trucks from Ford that have just been piling up in parking lots. Broncos, bad bunch. We've got thousands piling up. Now, of course, they're not underwater, but some of the F-150s down south are. And how would you feel if you got one of these F-150s? Now, there's headlines, F-150s underwater. From the photos, it looks like it's 8 to 10 inches, maybe max a foot. I'm not in, I'd love for engineers to chime in to say, does this really affect anything? I'm suspecting not really, but I'd love some input from someone that knows more than me. That's not my specialty. Water damage is not one of my categories that I know stuff about. So please chime in if you know about water damage, if really, 8 inches to a foot really does anything at all. So I used to work at a university and I was a manager, and I learned to kind of give news with, when you're doing reviews, employee reviews, you start with some good, you throw in some bad in the middle, and you finish up with some good. End it on a positive note. Well, we're into the meat of the sandwich, and we're in the middle. Here's some bad news. F-150 Lightnings. Maybe you've reserved one. I know over 120,000 people have reserved one. And if we look at Bronco's take rate or drop-off rate of the 120,000, if Ford loses, let's say, 36% that don't get converted to orders, Bronco was about that, 195,000 reservations, 125,000 orders. Well, let's say out of 100, what probably will end up being about 150 to 170,000 reservations by the time this is all done for the F-150 Lightning. Let's say they end up with 100,000 orders. Looks like 15,000 will be built for 2022. So, Lightning people, if you're watching, well, learn from the Bronco community. You're going to be in a similar situation, but worse, because only 15,000 of you as of now, from inside sources, looks like you'll be getting your Lightning. So a lot of people are going to be waiting until 2023, where they're going to kick up the production to 55,000. So this was news based that I got out of elective.com and autoblog.com. The headline was that, they're going to double F-150 Lightning production, which means by 2024, instead of building 40,000, they'll have 80,000 units produced. But in reading in between the lines, you can tell 15,000 for 2022. Probably what's going to be 100,000 reservations. So a select few might actually go into 2024. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about manufacturers coming out with, awesome models? I don't think anyone has a problem with that. I think the F-150 Lightning is fantastic. I've ordered one and I'm hoping to be able to take one on possession for the channel, take you guys along and gals along for the ride. Who knows, maybe even do some off-roading if I don't end up having a bad experience and damaging the Bronco far beyond what this channel makes, which isn't a fortune, but hopefully enough to cover any damages taken on when off-roading. But that F-150 Lightning, how do you feel? We more and more, and pretty much everyone's doing this, and sometimes, it's the vehicle gets produced 3, 4, 5 years, and sometimes never, even though some manufacturers will take deposits and then just never produce the vehicle or produce it 3 to 5 years later. How do you feel about that? I think Ford is pretty okay on this. I think it's reasonable to take orders, this reservations this summer and start providing them next spring. But how do you feel when the popularity is so high that, you know, some people are going to be getting served the second and third year? I do love how, personally, I do love how Ford provides these vehicles quickly. They don't just hype them up for 3 years and then deliver them 3 years from the time of taking reservation deposits. But how do you feel about it? I'd love your input. Let's get chit-chatting in the comment section. If you really think that we'd all be better served with live videos, well, we can also cover these discussions over live as well. It'll be outside my comfort zone because I'm more of a editing and I love adding pictures and whatnot. I feel that makes these videos richer, but I'd love your input. Now, just to repeat, Bronco soft top for the wild track. Yes, absolutely, fantastic, great news. But just for 2022, so not an option to do now. And two-door people, you still can't switch to a soft top and get delivered this year with the color you want. That's why we've got this guy right here. Now, another piece of news that's gone by in the last couple weeks, and since actually back to June, the Maverick, its FITS system. You know, the FITS system is for 3D printing. I'd love comment section, who actually does 3D printing? Who would actually care to do this for their vehicle? Was this a good place to spend, you know, marketing dollars as well as, you know, development dollars, research and development dollars? Are people really 3D printing? In my area, I know of 75 employees where I work. There's only 2 that have 3D printers. And you know what I can say is if you could 3D print some mud guards for the Maverick, that would be pretty amazing, because right now mud guards are splash guards. Really, I don't buy mud guards to protect me from splashing from water. I want to be protected from rocks and mud. So rock guards or mud guards, that's the correct term in my opinion. But you know, I'd love to be able to 3D print some of those, because right now that will keep your Maverick back. It's a late availability. And if you are shopping the Maverick, make sure to check out the Ford order guide, because the Ford order guide will let you know what will cause you a great deal of delay. Because they're late availability, it means, you know, it's not coming out in the first few months. It's either going to be somewhere around mid-production, and sometimes it even means near the end of the year. So keep that in mind. Look at all those options. I won't go through them because I've covered them in basically every Maverick video I've done, but that's something to keep an eye on. And that's just true of any vehicle that you're shopping on the market. Look at the order guide, figure out, you know, they'll tell you what is late availability, which means not available now, which equals delays. So very quickly, the tracking system these days at Ford. You might be pleasantly surprised. This is pretty cool. Just this morning, I was using the tracking system to look at where a vehicle was. And, you know, I was actually looking at my Bronco and saying, hey, they started building it the 16th of August. The 25th, it says it was completed, and no ETA, no dates, nothing after that. I'm thinking, what's going on? When are they gonna throw this thing on transport? I looked at another vehicle, a truck, and it said that it was just outside of Kansas. So it was in Missouri and on the train at, you know, at a certain ramp. So the train stopped, it's at a ramp. And then I had, you know, the truck showed up. So it actually showed up about 2 weeks earlier than I would have expected, because I would have expected 1 to 2 weeks of transport. So you might be pleasantly surprised if you're waiting on your Ford these days, because I guess the tracking system isn't quite as fast as it's not updated, I guess, as quickly as some of these vehicles move. So I'm hoping that'll happen with my Bronco and I'll be able to take it off-roading. But speaking of off-roading, I need your help. Right now, I'm thinking that I definitely will not put mud guards on it, because if you're on off-roading with mud guards, that costs you, you know, whatever it costs you, about $150 plus installation. Install that yourself. But you're gonna break them. You're gonna rip them right off. It's gonna scratch. Stay away from them, unless you get mud guards that can kind of fold over. But those are actually quite expensive. They're about $500 for the front set. I'm not willing to spend about $1,000 for a front set and a back set of mud guards. So what I'm thinking of doing is just plastic wrapping the bottom of my vehicle, and really even maybe the whole doors. But has anyone ever done this for off-roading? So the last times I've been off-roading, I just scratched up my vehicle. These were old vehicles. but I'd love to know if anyone's done this and if it actually protect them against small, the ends of branches, or if it just got wrecked. So I need your help. But what's a must-have accessory? What can be skipped over? I'd love to know what you think. Now I'm going for the mole bags, and I'm also going for the table, because I want to have, straps, whatever. I want to be able to put stuff on that table. If I go camping, I want to be able to put a little cooker out on that. But mostly I want to be able to have tools there in case I have to work around the vehicle, and I don't want to lose, my 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter always gets lost. I don't want to lose it, so I want that right there. I want that little table off the tailgate, so I've ordered that up, so you'll be able to see that. Now, I recommend the floor mats, unless you have a Badlands. If you have a Badlands or a Black Diamond, you have drainable floors, and you know what? Those drainable floors are already rubber, so you don't need to add rubber on rubber. You just wash them right out. And also the trunk space, the rear cargo on the Badlands is all rubber, so you don't need to spend, whatever it was, about $150 or $100 on a back rubberized carpet, flooring, additional flooring, unless you really like the Bronco logo. And I don't get this one, but I wanted a cover for the tire because I don't want salt and calcium getting in there, and I don't want mud just jam packing in there and then, pressure washing it against the vehicle. However, there's only a rear tire cover that comes in 32 inches. Come on, Ford, what's going on? Get the 33 inch and get we're calling it 35 inch tires. It's 34.4, but get the correct sizes no matter what Bronco model you get, especially when you consider that the Badlands is the most, if I'm not mistaken, is the most popular model. It's what people have ordered. So at least go with a tire cover, at least plan your accessories for your most sold model. Please, it only makes sense. But the price on that rear tire cover is it's given, and actually most of the prices I'm pretty impressed with, so maybe I'll get lucky with the winch and it won't cost a fortune, but there wasn't very much information on it, but I was at least able to order it, so I'll let you know when it comes in. I'll be using it probably, and even if I don't get stuck enough to, and probably the Bronco I probably won't get stuck. Maybe I'm just being wishful here, but either way, I'm going to test it out and I'll do a video on it, but I'll let you know when it comes in. Please let me know what you think are must-have accessories. Personally, I'm usually very anti-sticker. I think stickers usually do not help keep it classy, and please, in the comments section, try to keep it classy when it's possible, but stickers usually not classy. However, I really like the retro side stickers that are black and orange, and I also like the one that, the black and orange sticker that goes on the hood. I'm getting Velocity Blue. Love to know what you think about it. Is anyone else gonna get stickers for their vehicle? If so, which one? And really, which accessories interest you? So that's all the news I have for today. We'll continue this conversation in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate all the support, and if you want to help support me and you're not already subscribed, please hit like and subscribe. It helps feed a poodle, and until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power, and I hope this week you get to put the pedal to the metal.